but it's not working over here. Oh, there we go. It needed to be pressed in hard. You see, now you're getting bars here. That's good. Okay? Before you learn. And this was loose. It needs to be. And pressed in hard. And there you go.
Test.
You've got it.
Okay. Thank you. Usually the only time he comes to the guided meditation is when he's leading it, typically, or if when Paul is leading it. Good evening and welcome everyone, whether you're joining us in person. It's nice to see so many people here this evening, but also people joining online. And so setting aside time in our life to practice in this way. Cultivate the heart, cultivate the mind in positive ways. So this evening's, the shape of the evening is we'll begin with a period of chanting, and this evening we'll be chanting from the dark brown volume of the two books. The dark brown one will chant the teaching on the Noble Eightfold Path, and that's in Pali scripture language and English, line by line, Pali English. That begins on page 91. This is a core, foundational, supremely important teaching. Really lays out the holistic shape of the teachings, practice. So then after that we'll have a period of guided meditation. There'll be guidance, but there'll be also stretches of just silence so that we can actually practice what the guidance is, hopefully. And then we'll, near the end of, just before 8:30, we'll finish the meditation, just do short chant, one Dhamma reflection, one chant, and before we close the evening at about 8:30. So that's the plan for this evening. So. Page 91. Annamayang Haryatang Gikamagapatang Banamase Ayameva Aryo Atangikamago. This is the Noble Eightfold Path, Sayatidan, which is as follows: Sammaditi, right view; Samma Sankappo, right intention; Samma Vacha, right speech; Samma Kammanto, right action; Samma Ajivo, right livelihood; Samma Vayamo, right effort; Samma Sati, right mindfulness; Samma Samadhi, right concentration; Gatama cha bhikkhave sammaditi, and what bhikkhus is right view; Yanko bhikkhave dukkha jnanam, knowledge of suffering; dukkha samudaya jnanam, knowledge of the origin of suffering; dukkha nirodha jnanam, knowledge of the cessation of suffering; dukkha nirodha gamaniya patipadaya jnanam, knowledge of the path leading to the cessation of suffering. Ayang vujjati bhikkhave sammaditi, this bhikkhus is called right view. Gatamo cha bhikkhave samma sankappo, and what bhikkhus is right intention. Nekamma sankappo, the intention of renunciation. Abhayapada sankappo, the intention of non-ill will. Avihingsa sankappo, the intention of non-cruelty. Ayang vujjati bhikkhave samma sankappo, this bhikkhus is called right intention. Gatama cha bhikkhave samma vacha, and what bhikkhus is right speech. Musavada veramani, abstaining from false speech. Pisunaya vajaya veramani, abstaining from malicious speech. Bharusaya vajaya veramani, abstaining from harsh speech. Sambhapalapa veramani, abstaining from idle chatter. Ayang vujjati bhikkhave samma vacha, this bhikkhus is called right speech. Gatamo cha bhikkhave samma kammanto, and what bhikkhus is right action. Panatipata veramani, abstaining from killing living beings. Adinadana veramani, abstaining from taking what is not given. Kame sumichachara veramani, abstaining from sexual misconduct. Ayang vujjati bhikkhave samma kammanto, this bhikkhus is called right action. Gatamo cha bhikkhave samma ajivo, and what bhikkhus is right livelihood. Ida bhikkhave arya savako micca ajivam, bahaya samma ajivena jivitam kapeti. Here Bhikkhu's a noble disciple, having abandoned wrong livelihood, earns his living by right livelihood. Ayang vujjati bhikkhave sammaha jivo. This Gatamo cha bhikkhave sammavayamo. And what bhikkhus is right effort? Yeda bhikkhave bhikkhu anupanana papakanang akusalanang dhammana anupadaya. Here bhikkhus a bhikkhu awakens zeal for the non-arising of unarisen, evil, unwholesome states. Chanting janeti vayamati viriyam arabati chittang paganhati padahati. He puts forth effort, arouses energy, exerts his mind and strives. Upannanang papaganang akusalanang dhammana pahanaya. He awakens zeal for the abandoning of arisen, evil, unwholesome states. Chanting janeti vayamati viriyam arabati chittang paganhati padahati. He puts forth effort, arouses energy, exerts his mind and strives. Anupannanang kusalanang dhammana upadaya. He awakens zeal for the arising of unarisen wholesome states. Chanting janeti vayamati viriyam arabati chittang paganhati padahati. He puts forth effort, arouses energy, exerts his mind and strives. Upannanang kusalanang dhammana titiya asammosaya biyo bhavaya vepula ya bhavanaya paripuriya. He awakens zeal for the continuance, non-disappearance, strengthening, increase and fulfillment by development of arisen wholesome states. Chanting janeti vayamati viriyam arabati chittang paganhati padahati. He puts forth effort, arouses energy, exerts his mind and strives. Ayang vujjati bhikkhave sammavayamo. This bhikkhus is called right effort. Gatama cha bhikkhave sammasati. And what bhikkhus is right mindfulness? Yeda bhikkhave bhikkhu kaye kayanupasi viharati. Here bhikkhus a bhikkhu abides contemplating the body as a body. Atapi sampajano satima, ardent, fully aware and mindful. Vinaya lokeya bijjado manasam, having put away covetousness and grief for the world. Vedana suvedana nupasi viharati. He abides contemplating feelings as feelings. Atapi sampajano satima, ardent, fully aware and mindful. Vinaya lokeya bijjado manasam, having put away covetousness and grief for the world. Citte cittanupasi viharati. He abides contemplating mind as mind. Atapi sampajano satima. Ardent, fully aware and mindful. Vinaya lokeya bijjado manasam. Having put away covetousness and grief for the world. Dhamme sudhammanupasi viharati. He abides contemplating mind objects as mind objects. Atapi sampajano satima. Ardent, fully aware and mindful. Vinaya lokeya bijjado manasam. Having put away covetousness and grief for the world. Gawe samasati. This because is called right mindfulness. Gatamocha bhikkhave sammasamadhi. And what because is right concentration. Rida bhikkhave bhikkhu. Here bhikkhus a bhikkhu. Viviche vakamehi. Quite secluded from sensual pleasures. Vivija akusalehi dhammehi. Secluded from unwholesome states. Savitakang savijarang vivekajang piti sukha patamang janang upasampajja viharati. Enters upon and abides in the first jhana, accompanied by applied and sustained thought, with rapture and pleasure born of seclusion. Vidaka vijaranang vupasama, with the stilling of applied and sustained thought. Ajadam sampasadanang cetaso eko tibhavang avitakang avijarang samadhijang piti sukhang dutiyang janang upasampajja viharati. He enters upon and abides in the second jhana, accompanied by self-confidence and singleness of mind, without applied and sustained thought, with rapture and pleasure born of concentration. Pitya chaviraga, with a fading away as well of rapture. Upekako chaviharati. He abides in equanimity. Sato cha sampajano, mindful and fully aware. Sukhancha karyena bhati sangvedeti, still feeling pleasure with the body. Yang tang arya achikanti upekako satima sukha viharati tatiyang janang upasampajja viharati. He enters upon and abides in the third jhana, on account of which the noble ones announce. He has a pleasant abiding, with equanimity and is mindful. Sukha sachapahana, with the abandoning of pleasure. Dukkha sachapahana, and the abandoning of pain. Pube vaso manasado manasana atangama, with the previous disappearance of joy and grief. Adu kama sukang upeka satipadi suding chatutam janang upasampaja viharati. He enters upon and abides in the fourth jhana, accompanied by neither pain nor pleasure, and purity of mindfulness due to equanimity. Ayam vujjati bhikkhave samma samadhi. This because is called right concentration. Ayame variyo atangiko mago. This is the Noble Eightfold Path. Okay, find a meditation posture that works for us as an individual, whether you're on the floor, in a chair, on a bench, one cushion, two cushions, three, whatever. The whole point is to find a posture that we can maintain in relative stillness during this period. Of course, if you start feeling a pain which doesn't feel like good pain, sometimes pains we know that they'll go away as soon as we move the posture or stand up. But if it feels like something's being damaged, then use our human wisdom to just quietly, gently shift your posture so we're not hurting ourselves. This is not the point. The point is to be able to see the mind, see the heart, let go of the obstructions to our well-being, our peace, inner peace. The body is just a vehicle for consciousness. So. Sitting still is not enough, really. It's about also finding a posture that can be held in as relaxed a way as possible, because, as we all know, the way our body, the state of our body affects our mind and our mood, and our mood and mind affect the body. It's a feedback loop going on there. And so find a posture that is easily maintained in an upright position but not rigid. We're not trying to make the spine, if we were to look at our body from the side, we don't want to make a flat back. The body has all these curves, they're natural curves. If you take those curves away, it's not good. It's not good for the body. So what I like to do with each sitting meditation is to line up. Imagine that my ear canal and the center of my shoulder socket and the center of my hip socket are all in line. Now, of course, we can't see ourselves from the side, so we need to sort of imagine, try and find that alignment, and then all those natural curves that I mentioned will occur within those, in between those 3 points. So if we had a plumb line, because oftentimes we can end up leaning forward or backwards, side to side. That's the other thing, side to side, don't be leaning. And the reason it's really worth putting attention to the body is, it's manifold. One is, as I mentioned, to create a relaxed, poised but relaxed posture. But also, to do these things takes mindfulness. And that's really the point of the exercise is a mindfulness exercise. So I don't think we should consider this as, we're getting ready to do the exercise of mindfulness. No, this is all part of it. Being aware of what we're doing at any moment is mindfulness. And this is what we want to cultivate. So take a few moments, just maybe even experiment by leaning, just to find that sort of sweet spot in the middle where everything feels at ease, or as at ease as possible. Chanting is also, if we approach it with wisdom, is a mindfulness exercise. It's wholesome. We're chanting words that are not harmful. They're encouraging human beings towards wholesome mind states. To chant together, we need to be mindful. We're listening to each other. Not chanting too loud or too soft, not too fast, not too slow. So that's a communal activity. Sharing space, sharing it's a shared experience. It focuses the mind. And we chanted this evening the Noble Eightfold Path. And to develop the path, it takes mindfulness. Sometimes I know for myself in the early days, well, not just the early days, but earlier days of meditation, is that I thought that was kind of really what I needed to do, and that was kind of it. But I used a word at the beginning of the evening, holistic. This is a holistic path. It approaches, there's so many facets to it, it approaches from different angles, really to develop our full potential as a human being, not just somebody that can concentrate or focus the mind, but what are we doing with that collectedness? What are we doing with that focus? And if we use it to its potential, and then we are directing it through these myriad facets of practice. But doing exercises that allow the mind and heart to settle is important, it's crucial. Because the more relative stillness and quietude, then the easier it is to direct our attention for reflecting on our experience through the eyes of Dhamma. To look and see, are there any obstructions to our well-being at this moment? At this point in time, maybe not. But we're seeing that, and we're actually recognizing those moments. Or if we are seeing that there's obstructions to peace, well, what am I hanging on to? Why can I not be at ease right now, internally? Why can I not be accepting of the unwanted things that might be in my life right now, instead of trying to just get everything the way we want it, which is, it's hard to do, isn't it? And you get everything we want and then it changes. But if we start tapping into something that's not changing, we can allow the changes to take place peacefully, in a steady, grounded way. So one of the most accessible mindfulness exercises is to recognize the breath entering and leaving the body, entering and exiting. It's so accessible. So as we're sitting, let's, in this relative stillness, just gently place our attention on the in-breath and the out-breath. But one breath at a time. Just be content with being mindful for one in-breath. And then start over again the out-breath, just be mindful for those. And if our attention strays, which it generally will, and to not beat ourselves up or feel like we can't do it. The mind is it's extraordinarily, can be extraordinarily active. So just keep returning to the body, sensing the breath. Wherever we feel the breath easiest, whichever part of our body. Body sensing the in-breath, body sensing the out-breath, and that's where we're resting our attention. If we get lost, as soon as we recognize that, we go back to the body and the breath. So we'll practice like this for the next several minutes. developing mindfulness in this way. Yeah, we're not trying to suppress or repress anything. If anything, we're trying to see clearly. And this term that maybe many or most or all of us have heard, vipassana, in our scriptural language. So, passa means to see. Vipassana, vipassa, to see into, to see clearly. So that often referred to as insight, which I think it's a good translation, because it's insight into the nature of our experience, nature of reality, seeing the ephemeral, transient, impermanent nature of all conditioned things, and everything is conditioned. Any sight, any sound, smell, taste, tactile sensations, thoughts and feelings, they're all based on a series of conditions, causes and conditions. And that's not to dismiss them. That is part of mundane reality, reality with a small r. And yeah, we are caused and conditioned. Everything around us. So it's learning how to mindfully relate to the changing conditions. Steady. Relate to happiness and bliss and joy, and relate to sorrow, pain, despair, because they all come. And they all come and go. So how can we relate to those? And that's just to name a few things. How can we relate to that? Steady. How can we feel the chaos of certain moments and let chaos be one thing and mindfulness be another? Can be mindful of bliss and joy and ecstatic, positive states, and remain mindful, not get lost in those things, or feel that that's what we have to have the whole time. So mindfully seeing these things coming and going, and I'm not trying to play with words too much, but I prefer, instead of saying let them go, my mind says let them flow. Let them flow, and if something can be, if it's positive and would be good to have in our life, then maybe slow down the flow. You don't need to just, if it's something that can be nurtured, nourished, enhanced, good. Do what we can, but when it's time to go, let it flow. Let the painful, unwanted things, don't fight with them. Recognize. So we're not trying to, as I said, repress, suppress, or make ourselves unfeeling. If anything, we're more adept at being able to feel fully and remain whole, balanced. So by steadying, doing exercises like steadying the mind and heart, we see this movement, see the moving pieces of our experience. and learn how to remain balanced within that. So we'll go back into silent meditation. Here again, I suggest using the breath as our anchor to the present moment, the body, and be mindful of the flow of thoughts and feelings, sensory perceptions. So we've come to the end of our meditation. Before we do the little bit of chanting to close the evening, encourage all of us to take time out each day to be still, to be quiet. It doesn't have to be so formal as this. We don't need to find a shrine room or go to the monastery. It doesn't need to be setting aside a whole hour. Even just 5 minutes of just stopping what we're doing. Take time, especially beginning of the day, end of the day. You can even just sit down in a chair or wherever. Or do walking meditation back and forth. Just peacefully between 2 points, maybe 20 paces, 25 paces, just being mindful of the foot touching the ground, just mindful of the movement of the body. Just to tune in with mindfulness, tune into the heart-mind. Because that's where we suffer. It's really in the mind. It's all the entanglements. During our Q&A this evening, tea time, somebody reminded us of it's a lovely title of a book called Unentangled Knowing. Unentangled Knowing. It's the getting tangled up in all the stories, the mind creating entanglement. Can we, or Ajahn, unentangled participation? Can we, he uses that phrase, can we fully participate in life? Fully participate even in complex things, but remain unentangled in it. Not confuse the two. Don't just consider being active as entanglement, but no, we can be active and fully on board with things if we need to be, and yet remain unentangled emotionally, mentally. Sounds good to me. So we'll chant the verses of sharing and aspiration. Those who wish to join in, that's on page 33 in the same book we were using, the dark brown book. And sharing the goodness in our own life, sharing our practice. All of us have spent the last hour doing something exceptionally wholesome. And share whatever goodness we have with all beings, and make that conscious gesture with the mind heart. So page 33. Just make a little bit, sorry, we're updating the lighting system. Okay. Ooh. Now let us chant the verses of sharing and aspiration through the goodness that arises from my practice. May my spiritual teachers and guides of great virtue, my mother, my father, and my relatives, the sun and the moon, and all virtuous leaders of the world, may the highest gods and evil forces, celestial beings, guardian spirits of the earth, and the Lord of death, may those who are friendly, indifferent, or hostile, may all beings receive the blessings of my life, May they soon attain the threefold bliss and realize the deathless through the goodness that arises from my practice. And through this act of sharing, may all cravings and attachments quickly cease, and all harmful states of mind, until I realize Nibbana in every kind of birth. May I have an upright mind, with mindfulness and wisdom, austerity and vigor. May the forces of delusion not take hold, nor weaken my resolve. The Buddha is my excellent refuge, unsurpassed is the protection of the Dhamma. The solitary Buddha is my noble guide. The Sangha is my supreme support. Through the supreme power of all these, may darkness and delusion be dispelled. And we'll do the closing homage in the Pali and English languages. That's on page 16 in the same book. Arahang Sama Sambuddho Bhagava, the Lord, the perfectly enlightened and blessed one, Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivademi. I render homage to the Buddha, the Blessed One. Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo, the teaching so completely explained by him. Dhammang Namasami, I bow to the Dhamma. Supatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho, the Blessed One's disciples who have practiced well. Sangham Namami.